This is a little embarrassing. Alright, here's the context. Sometime last fall, I went to go chop some wood. The heads of both of my axes broke and came flying off the handles. Now, this one is my grandpa's axe. I have videos on the restoration on it. And the reason this one's embarrassing is because I tried this bridle joint on the handle because I was trying to save the handle, which was a bad idea because really the main thing you want to keep on an axe is the axe head, especially these old stuff because it's high carbon steel. Tried to save the handle and it came busting off. So that happened. Then I went to my 8-pound splitting maul here. Was not expecting that to happen, but this sucker came flying off the handle. I don't know why, but I have a suspicion. I think when you look at this handle, the grain pattern is pretty much straight up and down, and I think that's not what you want because it splits just like this. Lesson learned so far. So the plan is to put handles back on these at some point. But in the meanwhile, I really need to get some chopping done. We got to split a bunch of wood because around the property we have a series of like just piles kind of all around, large chunks of wood, and I want to get that cleared out. Plus, I have taken down a tree, and I plan on taking down some more, so there's going to be some more chopping in the future, and I need to do it, and so this is the opportunity to do this. So what I did is I ordered 2 axes from Amazon. Now, before I jump into those 2 axes, let me say this. I am a novice, and so if you're looking for an expert in axes, I can recommend a couple channels for you. This is mainly for those of you who are maybe more like me, where you've done some chopping here and there throughout your lifetime, but it's not like something that you do every day. It's not something that was taught to you per se. Nobody has given me ever like tips and tricks, and so all the things that I've learned so far about axes have just been watching others and then experimenting myself. I just got done watching some channels that blew my mind. I had already been subscribed to Essential Craftsman for a long time. He just recently did wood splitting video with the axe that he uses, and he uses I think an 8 or 6 pound splitting maul. I'm not quite sure, but he made quick work, and he's in his 60s, I think he said, 60s. The man is a legend. The other guy that I came across while watching Essential Craftsman was Buckin' Billy Ray Smith. That guy, he is humble, he is full of energy and full of wisdom, just like the Essential Craftsman. They are just awesome. He just did a wood splitting video as well, and he used the double-headed axe. He called it the laser beam axe. He just flies through the wood, and that comes with experience, knowledge, and understanding of how to swing and what tool he's using, and it was sharp and all that stuff. Man, talk about like going down a rabbit hole. When I was researching for this video, you could spend hours. In order to like kind of sift through all the noise, I'm just going to narrow it down to 2 things. I will be reviewing this 8-pound splitting maul that I got from Amazon, and then I'll be also reviewing a splitting axe, and they are different. What I've done is all the articles and all the videos that I found helpful, I will list them out down in the description below, and then you guys can make an informed decision yourself. Okay, so let's talk about the axes that I did get. So the first axe is the splitting maul that I bought, and this is a Huimin. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I didn't look it up. But this is an 8-pound splitting maul. And so I'm going to go through and chop a bunch of wood and give you my thoughts on this one. And then I got Fisker's splitting axe from Amazon as well. And we will go through that one. This was about a $50 axe. The Fisker's was also about $50. And so total investment was $100. As far as like on the scale of expensive to inexpensive, this is probably near the inexpensive or the cheaper side of things. The old adage, you get what you pay for, has always proven true to me. And so I'm kind of hoping that because I didn't go least expensive and I went just like a little bit above, I'm going to get more of my money's worth. And the idea here is also I'm going to be putting the handles back on those other axes. I will have 4 after this is over. So, you know, like I wasn't going to break the bank on getting a new one, and I just wanted an affordable one. So maybe it's the teacher inside of me, but I like to use rubrics and categories to kind of evaluate. Number 1, cutting edge. So what kind of steel is it made from? Does it hold its edge really well? The handle, the material and the strength of the handle. Number 3, handle ergonomics. And basically what that's going to entail is how tired do I feel? Obviously, with an 8-pound Maul, I'm going to be tired. But like my hands is what I'm talking about. Will my hands feel tired? What do other people think of it? So looking at the reviews and kind of determining how it plays out. I think it's a hotly... Is it a hotly contested debate? It might be just a debate between splitting Maul and a splitting axe. I think it really just boils down to personal preference. Obviously, these tools were made for a reason, so somebody had an idea and they thought that that idea would be the best. I don't know what I personally want or what I think is good. I'm really open, and so this is kind of a way for me to figure out what I like, what I don't like. Okay, so my first impressions. This sucker is huge. If you compare it with the old 8-pounder that I have, it's quite a bit wider, and it just looks beefier. And I wonder if all the weight is here, because it tapers out pretty good right here. And I assume that this is designed that way so that the wood will split easier. The handle is a no slip grip, and right here where the green is where it's really sticky, and right here where the handle is, and I think right here it's a lot smoother, and so I assume that when you're swinging, your hand can slide down the axe. What I'm going to do next is sharpen it a little bit. Now, this is also kind of another controversy on whether or not you should sharpen a splitting Maul or not. Some people say you should, some people say you shouldn't. I will put a link to an article I read that says a little sharpening is fine for a Maul, but don't over sharpen it, I guess. What I'm going to do, and this is mainly for the test, is I'm going to sharpen this just a little bit, and then we'll see how it holds as far as the edge holds, and we'll see how good this steel is. That's kind of the main point, I suppose. But to err on the side of being sharp versus being dull, I usually just err on the side of being sharp, because in general that's what you should do for tools. Alright, there it is, just a slight edge. Okay, we'll start with these, see how this goes. I think the funniest part about this is the fact that I thought I was going to fly through these. So my suspicion is there's a big giant knot in here. The other ones were fine. They're easy to split. But this one has a big old knot in the middle, and I wailed on it as hard as I could. Now I can't get that out. So we're gonna try and figure a way to get that out.
The log.
Hey, I got it. You guys can't see this, but the edge is holding really well. I think over time is what will really determine that one. Scoot in quick.
Woo!
Wow, look how gnarly that is.
What do you mean? Oh, wow.
That is all sorts of something there. Okay.
It didn't break.
So, if you are not skilled, like perhaps me, you're gonna ding up your no slip grip portion. So, just make sure you're hitting square and true. Yeah, I assume I can use this back end to slam home some wedges, but I'm looking at it and it's all dented up right now, so I don't know, maybe I'm not supposed to use it like that. Okay, how we're going to rate these axes is very simple. We're going to do thumbs up and thumbs down. 2 thumbs up is really good. 1 thumbs up is good. Thumbs down is not good. And then 2 thumbs down is really not good. The Hooyman no slip grip 8-pound maul, splitting maul. And we're going to start off with the cutting edge. From what I could tell, there were no nicks or dents or anything taken out of the blade edge after I sharpened it a little bit. But having said that, splitting mauls don't have to be that sharp because their main purpose is to blunt force trauma those big chunks. According to the website, it is made 8 pounds of pure 1045 high strength steel and is ready to take on your biggest projects. The blade held up well, really well. So I'm going to give that 2 thumbs up. Next category is the handle material. As far as the no slip grip, that is a fiberglass handle and it is durable. However, because of my lack of experience swinging an axe, I dinged it up pretty good. And so that no slip grip stuff is coming off. So because of my lack of experience, I don't know, should I let that taint this? But everybody who's going to use this may or may not have swinging experience. But that no slip grip was pretty easy to take off and ding up. So I'm going to give it just thumbs up. I don't think that handle is going to go anywhere anytime soon. As far as ergonomics go, next category, didn't notice. Obviously, I was tired from the swinging of the 8 pounds, but felt like it was pretty good and easy on my hand. So I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up for that. And final category, what did other people think of it? Currently on Amazon, there are 340 ratings. And out of 340, 76% gave it a 5-star, 15% gave it a 4-star, and that makes up 91% of all the reviews. And I would say not a huge sample size as far as how many people have rated it, but it seems to be of the people who did rate it, they've rated it mainly, most people, 91%, which is pretty good in my opinion. There's always going to be trolls and haters out there, so I'm going to give that 2 thumbs up as well. Let's move on to the next one, the Fiskars here, and this is a Finland-made product, which I think all of you probably know that. But Fiskars, this is a splitting axe, the 36-inch handle, which, you know, I kept reading and doing my research that a 36-inch handle is a lot, especially if you're just like around 6 foot tall or something like that. And so the reason it's a lot is because it's a lot to swing, and then you lose aim. The blade, I am not going to mess with this, the edge here. And the reason I'm not going to mess with it is because it came, this is one of the benefits of this Fisker's axe, this sucker came sharp, okay? And I don't want to ruin or affect the blade any more than I have to, so all I'm going to do to check for sharpness or how the blade handles its edge is I'm just going to visually inspect it after I'm done. Now it doesn't quite cut, it's still more ripping. So it says the head will never come off, nearly. It says that it's a one swing split. And so we're gonna do an equal amount of work here between this and the Huimin, and we'll see how this one handles it. It's much lighter, obviously. Another feature is that this end here is good for palming, and then it's hollow, pretty much feels hollow all the way through up to the head. So hopefully I don't get any really naughty ones. Ready? Dad joke.
Whoa! That was cool. That's actually. Whoa! Yeah, it did say one slam, one break.
Yep, it did. The other one.
Can you not do this? Woo! That was a good hit. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's a big one. Ooh. Wow. That looks like an S.
There's something so much fun about this.
Wow,
I don't know what it is.
Whoa. The nice snap. That's what I like. Yeah. The nice snap. I like the nice sound of it.
I did. I really thought this one was not going to perform.
That's for way bigger ones. Oh. And 3 again. Now I need split it.
Okay, let's now rate the Fisker's axe. So this is the Fisker's X27 Super Splitting Axe. It is 36 inches long, and the Huimin was also 36 inches long. So right out the bat, the cutting edge came out of the factory super duper sharp. Didn't mess with it, but I did notice that there were a few nicks taken out, which is probably to be expected. Also, one thing to consider is that the axe head itself has a low friction blade coating on it. So even though the blade didn't quite hold its edge, it's still pretty darn good, and I think it's going to last me quite a bit of time before I have to resharpen it again, because it really did fly through that stuff. So despite the small nicks, I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up because it was a pleasure to work with. Let's move on to the handle material. Barring any disaster, I don't see that thing flying off or separating from the axe head itself. It is made from fiberglass. It is super strong and light because they hollowed out the middle. And so I am going to give that 2 thumbs up as well. And moving on to the handle ergonomics, the only drawback was my fault, and it wasn't the Fisker's axe fault. I think 36 inches is too long for me. However, it did not impede me enough to make me think I should take it back or return it in any way. But I do think a smaller handle, shorter handle, would be better. I'm going to give that, looking at the reviews for this axe, there are on Amazon 5,977 reviews. A lot more reviews than the Huiman. And they average 4.8 out of 5. 88% of those folks gave it a 5-star rating. 8% gave it a 4-star rating, which makes up 96% of those nearly 6,000 people, which is a bigger sample size than the Huiman. So I think it's pretty safe to say a lot of people are pretty happy with it and satisfied. I, too, am satisfied. I think it's really good, a really good axe, and I will be choosing that one. In conclusion, I think they're both great axes, and I do think it is personal preference as far as getting a splitting maul or a splitting axe. I have discovered that I personally like the splitting axe, and the Fisker's was, even though it was too long of an axe handle, it still was really enjoyable to use. And so that's probably the one I'm going to use most often. There is one fatal flaw, though. The handle of the Fisker's axe is not replaceable. That to me does not give the flexibility that you would have with a wood-handled axe. Because if something happens to that Fisker's axe, there's really no way to replace it yourself, and so you're at the mercy of the company to either replace it or send you a new one. Maybe that rubs against my self-sufficiency or something like that. But other than that, 2 really good axes. I think overall, if you're partial to the splitting maul, I think Huiman is a good axe for you. If you're partial to a splitting axe, I do think Fisker's makes a really good axe, and I think you all should consider it. I will have links in the description for those 2 axes on Amazon, and that would be great because that would help support this channel, and I really appreciate the view. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment on this video. Thanks. We'll see you on the next one.